Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together in what we sometimes call a sanctuary, a retreat, and what I prefer to be called a bootcamp. The idea is that in addition to, or instead of trying to escape from the chaos in the outside world, we are here to learn to confront the chaos and ultimately not to be consumed by it. So today we, every week, for those of you who are new here, every week we alternate. And today we're going to be doing what is sometimes called a pranayama, breathing exercise in Sanskrit. What the Chinese call tu na. Tu means to breathe out, and na means to breathe in. And all that basically assumes that you're using the lower abdomen, using the diaphragm. And now we'll talk more as we go on, but that's ultimately the most important exercise that you can do, is to go back to breathing with your diaphragm and creating that balance between your autonomous nerve system and unleashing your self-healing power. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with doing some joint exercise. And some of you notice that the breathing exercise looks a lot like Tai Chi. And there's a reason for that. And because my master, before he became a monk, was actually a Tai Chi master, in addition to being a Shaolin martial artist, what would have been called today a MMA fighter. He actually fought for money. It's kind of interesting background. But in any case, it does look a lot like Tai Chi. So we're going to start with the understanding of Tai Chi in the very basic form has to do with the joints, and it has to do with the 6 joints. And the upper body would be the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and the corresponding parts in the lower part of the body, which would be the heel, the knee, and then the hip. So as we do joint exercise, is to create some flexibility, but also improve the circulations. So we're going to start by focusing on the body. We're going to learn how to sit properly. And we're going to focus on the lower part of our spine. We're going to walk up the spine very slowly, stretch towards the ceiling, one joint at a time, stretch as hard as you can. And then we're going to lean back, feel the lightness in your body as you remove the weight, as you remove the dependence on your muscle and putting the weight of the upper torso on your spine. And then just relax. Now we're going to focus on the shoulder. We're going to lift up the shoulder as far up as you can. Now we're going to open the shoulder as far back as you can. And then we're going to relax the shoulder, relax the upper torso. And one last thing, we're going to lean back the forehead, putting the ears on top of the shoulder once again, removing the reliance on the muscle, on the neck muscle, and putting the weight of the head on top of a spine. Now we're going to tuck in the chin slightly so that the top of the head is on top of our spine. This is what we call the one pillar supporting the sky. Now we're going to focus on the center of your palm. You notice that I keep asking you to focus, or I use the word anchoring. So we are actually practicing mindfulness meditation right now, but it's what I call mindfulness in motion. You can practice mindfulness when you sit, when you stand, or when you lie down, or you can practice mindfulness when you walk and when you exercise. So I'm going to focus my mind on the center of your palm. Now I'm going to bring up my hand very slowly, mind, body together. And we're going to bring it all the way up to the shoulder level. Now we're going to focus, we're going to anchor our mind on the wrist. And we're going to turn our wrist very slowly, very gently, very mindfully, one turn at a time. One turn at a time means that each turn is independent of the other. Each turn has a beginning and an end. And here we're going to practice a new habit, which is that every time there's a beginning is where you check your mind and you make sure your mind is actually on your wrist. Now, if your mind is not on your wrist, it's either in the past or in the future. So this is the important part, that you need to bring it back to the present. And then once you bring it back, you commit yourself to the entire cycle from the beginning to the end. One turn at a time, one turn at a time. Now we're going to turn the other way. Again, anchor your mind on your wrists. And as you turn, you bring your mind back. And once you bring your mind back, you commit yourself to the full cycle. And during the cycle, you focus on observing the change in your body. See if there's any heat, any sweat, any numbness, and maybe even pain. Any kind of feeling is fine. And then when you get to the end, you ask yourself, I'm going to recommit to another cycle, one turn at a time. Now we're going to bring down our hands, so focus your mind on the center of your palm, bring it back down the same way you brought it up. And then now we're going to come back to a shoulder, lift up a shoulder, lift up our upper torso, lean back, open our shoulder as far back as you can, relax the shoulder, relax the upper torso. Now we're going to focus on the center of your palm again. And now we're going to bring it up very slowly, very gently, very mindfully, all the way up to the shoulder level. Now we're going to focus on the elbow. We're going to turn the elbow one turn at a time, very slowly, very mindfully. Again, there's a beginning and an end. And at the beginning, we commit ourselves to the cycle, check our mind, make sure that it's actually at the present time and not hiding somewhere like in the past or in the future. Now we're going to turn the other way, one turn at a time. You start to feel the heat in your body now, not just at the wrist or at the elbow. You're actually improving the circulation in your entire body. And now we're going to bring it back down, mind, body together. And now we go from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. So once again, we lift up the shoulder, lean back as we open our shoulder, relax the shoulder, and then relax the torso. We're doing joint exercise now on the shoulder. So I want you to anchor your mind on the center of your palm. I want you to bring up the hand. This time we're going to cross a hand and bring it in front of you. And then bring it on top of you. And then I want you to point the fingers towards the ceiling, stretch as hard as you can. And now anchor your mind on the center of your palm, turn your hands outward, open that shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder. Now the pain is already gone. So I want you to let go of the pain, come back to the center of your palm, in front of you, on top of you. And then stretch as hard as you can. Point the center of your palm outward. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of that pain. Don't cling on to the pain. If you cling onto the pain, it becomes suffering. So once again, stretch as hard as you can. Point the palm outward. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of that pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Let go of the pain. The pain is gone. No, only the memory of the pain is left. So let go of it. Come back. Stretch as hard as you can, pointing outside. Feel the pain on your shoulder. We're going to do 2 more times. Stretch. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. One last time. Follow the center of your palm. Stretch. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Now we're going to do the other way. Open first. Stretch. Come and bring it back down. Open first. Stretch. Bring it back down. Open first. Stretch. Bring it back down. We're going to do 2 more times. Follow the center of your palm. On top of you, stretch. And then follow the center of your palm. Bring it back down. One last time. Open first. Stretch. And then bring it down very slowly, very gently, very mindfully. Now we're going to go from front to back. So once again, back to your shoulder. Lift up your shoulder. Open that shoulder. Lean back. And then relax the shoulder. Relax it one more time. And then follow the center of your palm. We're going to front to back. So get ready. Lift it up. In front of you, on top of you. Now, you know the pain is coming, right? All right, so we're going to learn to confront that pain. We're going to learn to confront the pain. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. Next time. One more time. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. One another time. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. 2 more times, okay? 2 more times. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. One last time. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight, hands in the back, as far back as you can. Follow the center of your palm. Lift it up. Come back from the front, all the way back. Bring it to the top, all the way down, all the way back. Stretch, bring it back down, all the way back. Stretch, and then bring it back down. 2 more times, all the way back. Stretch, and then bring it back down. One last time. Stretch, and then follow the center of your palm, bring it down. Now we're going to go from mindfulness in motion to mindfulness when sitting, right? We could also do it mindfulness when standing or mindfulness when we lie down. So this is one of the things that you need to know is that sleeping is actually a meditation. So try to go to sleep. When you lie down, relax. Try to see if you can sleep on one side, not putting too much pressure in the back of your brain where the memories are. And then just focus on your breath, focus on your stomach. See if you could just go to sleep by focusing on your breathing. Okay? All right. So we meditate in all 4 postures, standing, lying down, and sitting. And we also meditate when we're moving, right? And there's a way to describe that. When we sit, we meditate, and we sit like a bell. We sit like a bell, okay? Siri is trying to talk back to me.
I'm here. How can I help?
How can I turn this sucker off? All right. And so we sit like a bell. We walk like the wind. We stand like the pine tree. And if we ever do lying down meditation again, it's when we lie down like the bow and arrow. Okay. So each we meditate on all 4 postures. We don't just meditate when we sit. So now we're going from meditating while we're moving to meditating while we're sitting. And there's a big change. So when you meditate, when you move, your mind is on your body. You anchor your mind on your body. And then when you sit, when you stand, when you lie down, then you anchor your mind on your breath. Okay? And there's 4 stages in meditation. So we talk about anchoring, we talk about observing, and so that's kind of in the middle. So when we sit, we have one more step that we put in as, imagine that it's like a stepping stone, right? So this is what we call knowing. So we just want to come back to your body. First, stretch upward, lift up your shoulder, lean back, open your shoulder, relax your shoulder, relax your spine. And then now we want to anchor our mind on the breath and just observe your breathing. And then just say to yourself, I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. Okay? So this is like whispering. You're whispering to yourself. And what you find is that whenever you are under a lot of stress or even just simple exercise, energetic exercise, and you come back and you focus on your breath, you realize that your breath is very rush, right? And very fast. And your breath is actually a bridge between your mind and your body. So you want to slow down your mind, bring it back to your rest and digest mode. And you do that by just focusing on your breath and start by knowing, I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. It's like whispering to an animal, right? Or whispering to your child. They calm down and your breath calms down, your mind calms down. So now you're restoring your balance. You're going from fight or flight back to rest and digest. So this is something that you can use whenever you feel that you're under a lot of stress. You first lift up your shoulder, You then open the shoulder, lean back, and then relax the shoulder. And perhaps even lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin. So you're taking the load off of your muscle. And then you just say to yourself, I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out, right? So just remember that, okay? Remember that. So there are a lot of things that we repeat and repeat and we repeat. That's one of the things that we repeat. Lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, relax, come back to the breath, and one breath at a time, right? The other thing that we do is what we've been doing now is that whenever you feel pain, when you feel discomfort, especially when you feel discomfort in your mind and in your emotion, just remember this. Just remember this. Feel the pain, accept that pain, and then let go of the pain. Right? So I always talk about bring it back, right? And in the beginning, just ask yourself, is my mind on my body or on my breath? If it's not, it's hiding somewhere. Where's it hiding? It's hiding in the past or hiding in the future. Hiding in the past means that you're still thinking about things that is already gone. You're not really attached to the pain. The pain is gone. You're attached to the memory of the pain. Or your mind is in the future thinking about things that hasn't happened yet, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn from the past. I'm not saying that you shouldn't prepare for the future. But too much of that is really the source of depression or anxiety. Anxiety is much easier. Depression can be very difficult, right? So you always ask yourself, if I want to stay emotionally healthy, then I cannot be stuck in the past and I cannot be stuck in the future. Let me try to learn this new technique of really paying attention to my present. Enjoy the present, right? See around you. Wow, this is beautiful. Wow, that tastes really good. I really like that. Oh, you're so nice. All the things that you can pay. And it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Okay? All right. So we're going to continue to do more exercise and then preparing yourself for a sitting meditation. And so first exercise we're going to do still has to do with the joints, but this time I'm going to bring in a little different element, which is separating your left brain from your right brain. And if not I'm mistaken, the left brain is a little bit more logical, I think. I could be wrong. It's one or the other. And then the right brain is a little bit more emotional and creative, right? I know that, right? Back in the days when I was a child, if the kid turns out to be left-handed, it's a big, big no-no in the family, right? The parents would force them to use the right hand. And then, it's a little, when you're a child, we need to learn to use chopsticks because the way you hold your chopsticks depends on your future. It's just a crazy way. Because when people see you, they say, oh, you don't know how to hold a chopstick. That means your parents haven't taught you. Well, they didn't teach you how to hold a chopstick. Chances are they haven't taught you anything else. It's just how people judge you back in the days. And so little kids will hold a chopstick with the left hand and the parents say, oh, no, 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 no. That's a big problem. Well, it turns out that the person, this is just, that's what people say, is that people who are left-handed tend to be a little bit more creative. And so in a way, you're stifling their creativity, right? So these days, we don't have that problem, it's whatever it is. But still, what I'm trying to say is that there's a left brain and a right brain. And here we're going to talk about something else, which is how do you deal with pain? How do you let go of pain? Well, sometimes you have to switch between the rational and from the emotional, right? Sometimes when it's emotional pain, the only way you could deal with it is just be a little bit more rational and vice versa. So let's try that, okay? All right, lift up our shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin. Let's put the left hand in front and stretch out the right hand. Now we're going to focus on the center of our right palm, which means that we're using the left side of the brain, the more logical side. Now we're going to follow the center of the palm, making a nice big circle in front. And you know what we're going to do, right? We're going to create a lot of pain on the shoulder, on the right shoulder. So let's just confront that. Let's just confront that. Feel that pain on your shoulder. The pain's gone. All that's left is the memory. Let's accept that and just let it go. And switch from the left brain to the right brain, focusing on the left hand. Now bring the left hand. Feel the pain. Accept that pain. let go of the pain. Let go of the memory of the pain. Going from one side of the brain to the other. And again, feel the pain, accept that pain, let go of the pain. Sit up straight, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight, feel the pain, accept that pain, let go of the pain. Left hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Let's do 2 more times. Sit up straight, right hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Now let's come back to the breath. All right, so we finished exercise, so now we come back to sitting, and so we're going to focus on the breath. And you notice already that the breath is very rushed because that was an energetic exercise, even though it's very mild. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to whisper to ourselves, I know I'm breathing in, I know I'm breathing out, one breath at a time. Okay, all right. So I talk a lot about how we came to United States as a immigrant. We were an immigrant family. Came in 1971. I was 15 years old. And we came to at first live with my aunt, who was a naturalized citizen. It is the right of American citizen to be united with their family. It is not the right for a foreigner to be in this country, right? Unless they come to visit. There's a reason for them that you can't just come here and claim that you are an undocumented immigrant. There's no such thing. Either you're legal or you're not legal. And if you're legal, you still have to wait your turn. And so we did. We waited a turn. We came to the United States. My aunt is a naturalized citizen. Actually, there's a whole history to that. My uncle, who fought in World War II, was what we call the paper son. He actually came here using false paper because there were no DNA back then. And so you can claim to be the son of someone. And that's why we have our version of the Angel Island in the West is what we call the Treasure Island, where they interrogate you to see if you're actually related. But in any case, the point is that my uncle was illegal, right? There were many of them. All of them were basically illegal because before that, there was something called the Exclusionary Act that they specifically target Chinese immigrants, legal immigrants, and strip them of the right of being naturalized citizen. And so they can never bring their family back. Anyway, though, that's a whole interesting story. And my uncle fought in World War II, earned his right to be a citizen, went back to China and married my aunt. And my aunt came here and earned her right to be a citizen, and then exercised her right to be united with her family. And here we are, 1971. I was 15 years old. And my aunt had 2 sons, my cousins, and they were about probably 8 years younger than me. So I'm 70 this year, and they should be around 62. The oldest of the cousin, I just find out that he had a second open heart surgery. He had one about a year ago, a triple bypass, and I guess the doctor decided that he didn't actually recover from that, and so they did the quadruple, basically a quadruple bypass. So, long story short, he has a failing heart, and of course, all that comes from him being a long-term diabetic. And so here's a man that my little cousin, right? My little cousin, and he's 8 years younger than me, and he's not a healthy man, right? Well, then I look up and I say, well, what is the cause of heart attack? Why do people have to do quadruple? Because I don't know any of that, right? Well, it turns out that heart attack is the number one reason, number one cause of death. I couldn't believe it. Every 3 seconds in America, someone suffered from a heart attack. Every 3.5 minutes, someone died from a heart attack. That is a crazy thing. So what is heart attack? Well, heart attack means that your body inflamed. That's all it means. Your body inflamed, and you say, oh, no, that's not true. They die with their heart attack because they have too much cholesterol. Of course, they have too much cholesterol because their body inflamed, and the body is trying to fix itself by depositing cholesterol. It's like putting plaster on the wall when you have a crack. Anyway, my point is that all the modern disease that we have these days come from the fact that your body is inflamed, chronic inflammation, and all that comes because you have lost your self-healing capability. You cannot heal yourself anymore. Well, how does the body heal itself? Well, when you're under stress, the body puts out stress hormone, and one of which is called cortisol. It's a steroid that reduces inflammation. But when you're under stress 24/7, you have too much cortisol. You develop what's called cortisol resistance, and now the body cannot heal itself. So the exercise that we do, and we're getting ready to do the sitting meditation and the breathing exercise, is to restore that self-healing by balancing between the fight or flight and the rest and digest. Okay? All right, so we're going to talk more. And this is probably, if I think of all the things that I do here, and we alternate every week. We have so many different ways of exercising, balancing between yin and yang and all that. I'm thinking that the most important exercise is probably learning how to breathe, how to breathe properly, the way that we used to breathe when we were first born, using our diaphragm. Because when we were inside our mother's womb, we use the diaphragm to actually brings in the nutrient and also bring in the energy. This is the only muscle that we have when we were born. This is the proper way to breathe. And this is the way that you can heal yourself by learning, by going back, okay? I couldn't make it more simple than that. And I know all of you saying that, well, that's what you said every week. I know. That's what I said every week. I'm hoping that at one point I actually believe in it. All right, so let's do two more exercises. And one is to put us into the fight or flight, the very energetic exercise by what we call throwing the fist. So let's lift up our shoulder again, lean back, and then relax. Let's focus on the right hand, make a fist. Let's follow the fist. Get ready. Go. Feel the vibration on your body, anchor your mind on your body. Come back, sit up straight, down, down, up, down, down. One more time. Up, down, down. Open your shoulder. Focus on both shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now come back. Focus on your breath. One breath at a time, right? So this is an energetic exercise. Reminds me of the days when I was a university professor and I was teaching Newton's second law, action equal to reaction. It actually promotes circulations. The energy that goes out is what we call yang, and then the energy that comes back is what we call yin. Okay? All right, so that's one exercise. Now the second exercise actually is the opposite. It is to promote the rest and digest by initiating your vagus nerve, okay, which starts at the back of the ear, goes down, all the way down, and then connects into your stomach. Now, I talk a lot about the diaphragm. The diaphragm is not just one thing. It's actually what is connected into all your internal organs. And so this vagus nerve actually comes down to the diaphragm and then to the rest, everything else. And this exercise actually combines stretching and then also breathing. It's a very simple exercise. So first we're going to lift up our shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Now we're going to take a hand, put a thumbs in front of our shoulder, roll up the 4 fingers, and then open the shoulder, sit up straight. Now we're going to follow our elbow. We're going to bring up our elbow, entire upper torso stretch as if you're bringing your shoulder to your ears. We're going to continue to follow the shoulder by pointing our shoulder back, opening up our shoulder, as far back as you can, as if you're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. Now we're going to drop a shoulder, relax. I mean the elbow and the shoulder too. Now we're going to point elbow forward, looking down. We're going to bring it up, stretch towards the ceiling, head's pointing to the front, and then open it. We're looking at the ceiling, 45 degrees. Bring it back down, lower your head all the way until elbows pointing forward. We're going to combine that with breathing. So as we lift up, we take an in breath very gently until we open the shoulder. And then when we bring it back down, we relax. We breathe out all the way out until we point our elbow forward. Bring it up, breathe in. Bring it down, breathe out, and relax. Breathe in. Breathe out, relax, okay? Relax. In. Out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. I'm going to do it 2 more times. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then now drop your shoulder. Relax. We're going to start to meditate. And so it's important that we do these 2 exercises. One is energetic. Make sure you will have enough circulation so you have enough oxygen in your brain. You don't fall asleep when you meditate. If you do fall asleep, we call that lazy Zen. Or the other one is that you relax, you learn to focus on your body, focus on your breath, and not let your mind drift into the past, and not let it drift to the future. Stay away from depression, stay away from anxiety. And when you do, if you drift away and you're thinking about the past, thinking about the future, we call that the monkey Zen. It's like the monkey. It's like our mind is a monkey and it's just swinging between the trees. So we're going to come back, and first we're going to do is we're going to try to adjust our posture. And we're going to first focus on our legs. The legs are like the pedestal to the rest of the body. The rest of the body is like the bell, the Liberty Bell. So sit. If you sit on the chair, make sure that the height of the chair is just right, so you're not dangling your feet. Or your feet is actually right below your knee, so you're not stretching out or bending it backward. If you sit like I do, see if you could put some pillows and blankets so you're not lifting up your feet. And relax your hand, just rest it on your knee, rest it on your thigh, on your calf, wherever. Okay, just don't lift it up. Don't try to use your fingers to do any kind of hand gesture. Just relax. Finally, we get to the spine. Once again, start from the bottom of the spine. Move towards the top of the head. Stretch your spine as hard as you can, as if you're hanging your spine on the ceiling. We sit like the bell, then your spine is like the clipper inside the bell. It needs to be hanging from the ceiling. Now you lean back, and then you relax. Again, come back to the shoulder, lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, relax the shoulder. Lean back the forehead so the ears on top of your shoulder, and then tuck in your chin. Now comes to the eyelid. We call the eyelids the shades, right? The window, right? The eyes are the window to your soul, right? That's how we call it. Well, then the eyelids are like the shades that you cover the window. So you lower your eyelids, but you don't shut your eyes, just relax. If you see some light coming through from your eyelashes, that's perfectly fine. Then what you need to do is learn to place the tongue on your roof of your mouth. Now you do that by taking the tip of your tongue and you touch the teeth, the back of the teeth. Right? You close your mouth and then you go up the teeth until you feel the roof of your mouth, and there's a part where there's an indentation, just very minor, very subtle, and that's actually an energy point. Is what we call the pond of the heaven. And so I want you to see if you could just rest your tip of the tongue right at where the cavities are. Right now, you don't want to push it. Okay, just rest it there. So imagine that these are your teeth. This is the roof of your mouth, and just right there, right there. Okay, just kind of rest it there. Okay, now the first thing you can notice when you do that is that all of a sudden there's a lot of wetness inside your mouth, because this actually tells the brain to relax. And when the brain is relaxed, then you enter into rest and digest, and the inside of your tongue, where the saliva glands are, will start to activate, because you're now resting. You're now back in the safety of your cave. The body says, let's restore your immunity, let's restore your digestion. And then one thing that it says when in the translation is to restore your reproduction. So we often call rest and digest, or rest and reproduce. Actually, the Chinese think of reproduction not just between the eggs and the sperm. It's not just to reproduce the next generation. It's actually to reproduce the next generation of yourself, right? We all know that our body, each cell cannot survive more than 200 days. So the reproduction is really about regenerating yourself. And so this is very important for health, is to make sure that our saliva glands are activated, that we make sure that we're self-hydrating. Now, once you get all that, then we do the first step. It's what we call the mindful of your breath to cultivate your qi. In this case, qi is life energy, and the dantian, the lower stomach, the field of fire, is where you want to cultivate your life energy. And so we do that by focusing on the breath. First, we go with knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. Now we go from knowing to anchoring. So I want you to anchor your mind on your belly button. When you know that you're breathing in, I want you to relax the stomach, pointing the belly button forward just slightly. Okay? Slightly. Don't try to beat it into submission. Just very gently, just use your mind as if you're moving your belly button forward. And when you know that you're breathing out, I want you to bring in your stomach, pointing the belly button back. Just use your mind, relax. Now, if you don't relax and you become anxious, the diaphragm actually doesn't move. It's very stiff. So relax. When you breathe in, open your stomach, pointing the belly button forward. When you breathe out, collapse the stomach, bringing the belly button back. Now, what you're doing is, as you bring the belly button forward, opening the stomach, you're lowering the diaphragm, increasing your lung capacity. That's why we call it tu na. Na means to bring in the fresh. And then tu is the opposite, where when you breathe out, you bring in your stomach, bring in your belly button, and you're pushing the diaphragm up, forcing all the stale air at the bottom of your lung to come out. And so na means tu na, tu means to breathe out, tu means to breathe out. Tu means to breathe out the old, na is to bring in the new, right? So this is an ancient Chinese technique back in probably first documented around 2nd or 3rd century before the Common Era. Okay, very old technique. Of course, the Indians do the same thing. All right, so let's just practice for 5 minutes. And what you're doing now as you move the diaphragm is that you're massaging your small intestines, creating some static electricity. That's the modern interpretation of qi right now. It's just that you're creating some electricities in the belly. Okay, all right, let's just sit for 5 minutes. And of course, your mind is not going to stay still, so that's okay. So when you feel that you're breathing in, you said to yourself, that's the beginning of one cycle. Let me check my mind. and but my mind is on my belly button, that's great. Then I commit myself to one cycle. If your mind is hiding in the past or in the future, then you just bring them back, invite them back into this exercise. And once they're back, you commit to a full cycle. And when you get to the end, when you breathe out, you said to yourself, that was good. I'm so glad that I did that. I'm proud of myself. Let's just do another one. Let's just recommit. Okay? All right. Okay? Don't be too hard on yourself, all right? You're not alone here. It's a tough thing. It's very challenging to actually bring in your mind like that. Okay? Don't be too hard on yourself. Just go with it and just keep inviting your mind, and then just say to yourself, I'm going to do this one breath at a time, right? Back in the days when we had piggy banks, that's how we do it. We put one coin in at a time. So imagine that you're like putting one coin into your piggy bank, one at a time. Okay. Now this simple exercise that in Chinese, when I translate it, is called the mindful of your breath to cultivate your chi is actually a very good exercise. Just that, it's a very good exercise. Because what it does is that as you practice using your diaphragm to breathe, and as opposed to using the muscle of your upper body, you enter into fight or flight when you breathe in. When you breathe in, your diaphragm goes down and you enter into your fight or flight. How do I know? Because when they measure your heart rate goes up. And then when you breathe out, you bring in your stomach, you lift up your diaphragm, breathing out all the stale air. You enter into the rest and digest because your heart rate goes down. That difference is called heart rate variability. It's actually an indicator of how you are healing yourself. It's actually demonstrated to be a good metric for reversing neurological damage that leads to dementia, and as well as many other illness, okay, like autoimmune and that kind of thing. There's been a lot of study on that now. And so just doing that, cycle you between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic is a very good way to restore the harmony between your two autonomous systems, allowing your body to heal itself. Okay, just that. It's very simple. It's very simple. Just breathe in, open your stomach, breathe out, bring in your stomach, right? Now, one of the side effects of that is that you're creating some energy in your small intestines. Small intestine is very long. It's like 6 times the height of a person. It has a lot of surface area and it's piezoelectric. So when you massage it like that, it creates some static electricity. And so the next part is for us to bring that energy through our spine and then come back using what is in between the left brain and the right brain. Now, these days with AI, actually you have a very good tool in front of you. Don't reject technology. Right? Technology by itself is neutral. It's how you use it, and there's nothing artificial about AI, and there's nothing intelligent about AI. It's just cultivated knowledge. And so just think of it as your personal tutor. Ask a question, they give you an answer. So you can ask about how the North Indian, Indian, the yogis practice, and look up something called nadi. Nadi is their understanding of the energy channel in the body, and these channels are the conduit for the energies in the universe. Okay, now it's a very complicated way. They think that there's 72,000 channels. That's a lot. And when that understanding came to the Chinese, they simplified it. They simplified it into what's called the 12th meridian, which is that there's a energy running through a body, right, every 2 hours, and then 12 of them make up 24 hours. There's under the sun, there's away from the sun. It's a different way, but it's basically the same thing. Now you look up AI and you say, what runs through these nadis? It will tell you, oh, it's called prana. Prana, I thought that meant breath. Well, it turns out that they think that breathing and energies are the same, which is what the Chinese thinks. That breathing is qi, but it's the simplest form of qi, breathing exercise. I mean, life energy is qi and breathing is qi. But then the energy that runs through your meridians are also called qi. And so the next part is trying to circulate our energy through our primary channels. Our spine actually coincides with a channel called a guardian channel, translate into called guardian channel, and it's where all the yang energy comes up. And then in the front, something that we cannot identify physically is the yin channel. And so I want to come back to the breath. Now, I feel that I'm breathing in. I feel that I'm breathing out. Now I'm going to focus on the lower part of my spine. And as I breathe in, I rise from the bottom of the spine up the spine towards the top of the head. And I stretch my spine slightly as I get to the top. And then when I breathe out, I come from the top of my head to the forehead, along the nose, down to my tongue. My tongue is a perfect conduit because it's resting on the roof of my mouth. The energy goes in from here and comes back. And then it eventually comes towards the belly button. And then I lean back and relax. It's very simple. Breathing in, stretch all the way to the top of the head. And then breathing out, lean back and relax. Okay? Okay, let's sit for 5 minutes. This is the second part of a practice, and I'll talk about the benefit in a minute. Okay. Now this next exercise is you start to feel a lot of benefits. One of the benefits that you feel is that all of a sudden you feel that your mouth is very wet. You actually have to swallow the saliva now, and which is good. It restores your immunity, restore your digestion, right? Restore your reproduction, right? As I explained. And so you feel that whatever water element is actually rising to the top of your. And then same thing is that the fire element is sinking down, and you actually feel a lot of warmth in your body, including the bottom of your feet as you meditate. You also feel that your head is very light, right? Because what you're doing is you're bringing the um, the essence of the kidney meridian, which is the marrow, and you bring energy along the marrow. And the Chinese think that the brain is the sea of marrow, and so this actually reactivate regenerate your brain, and you feel like very cool. Your head is very cool, and your time also passes very quickly. So there's a lot of benefit. All right. So we're going to do now. We're going to do our more exercise, more with the joints, and then we're going to do the tuna, right? That exercise that we do every other week on our breathing, and then we're going to come back and meditate. All right. Okay. So remember, I said now that the exercise that we do looks a lot like Tai Chi. And so Tai Chi is actually a, um, uh, a martial art exercise, right? My master actually was a Tai Chi master, and he actually fought using the Tai Chi technique. So it looks like Tai Chi, but it's not. It's what my master called no ego Tai Chi, no judging Tai Chi, right? All right, so now we're going to work on a knee. The knee is the same as the elbow. And then we're going to go from the knee to the heel. The heel is the same as the wrist, and then back to the hip. The hip is the same as the shoulder. That's the important part of the Tai Chi practice. So let's put our hands on the knee, and one, very gently, very mindfully, two, three, four, and five. Now let's go the other way. One, two, three, four, and five. Now we'll go from the knee to the heel. So right heel, one, two, three, four, and five. The other way, one, two, three, four, and five. Now to the left, one, two, three, four, and five. The other way, one, two, three, four, and five. Now you notice that our exercise combined of the 2 weeks have the three elements. Has a lot of stretching, has some form of cardio, and then has muscle building. But for the Chinese, one more exercise is important for maintaining our health as we age, which is balance. Okay, balance required the coordination between the left brain and the right brain. And I said this many times when I look back to my father, and his deterioration didn't start with memory or with his ability to analyze, but he lost his ability for balancing. Okay, now we're going to stand on our toes, but before we do that, I want you to look straight ahead, and then just stand on your toes, focusing on the top of your head, looking straight ahead, and then come down and impact the heel, which is where the bladder meridians are. Second time, just gently when you come down on carpet, okay? Second time, one last time, and then down. Now we're going to do more balancing. So we're first going to shift a weight to the left, balance on the left foot. Now we're going to focus on the heel of the right foot. We'll bring it up, and it's important that you look straight ahead. One, two, three. Now we're going to balance on the right foot, bring up the left foot, focusing on the heel, looking straight ahead. One, 2, and 3. Now we're going to come back to the hip. Now we're going to stand on the right foot, looking straight ahead, straighten up my back, put the hands in front. And then now we're going to bring to the left foot. Notice that the toes on my right foot is up. We're pivoting on the heel. And we form a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder. And we're going to turn. And don't stop in the middle. Get to the end. And then just turn a little bit more. And then in front, relax. Second time. In front, relax. One last time, turn. Okay. Now, as we age, the last thing we want to do is to fall, right? Falling is really the beginning of the end. Once you fall, you lose all your ability to maintain your health. And falling, recovery from a fall requires the hip. So it's very important that as we age, we maintain the flexibility of a hip. All right. And so what's the best way to maintain the flexibility of the hip? Go dancing. I'm not a dancer. Okay. All right. So now it comes to this exercise called the tuna or pranayama. Yama means the practice of breathing. But it's a meditation practice. So let's figure out where we're supposed to anchor our mind. Well, very simple. We anchor our mind on the center of your palm. Bring it up, mind, body together. 1. Bring it towards yourself. 2. Bring it down, lower your knee. 3. And then stand back up. 4. Breathe in. 1 and 2. Breathe out. 3. Relax. 4. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Okay, now breathe in. Cross your hand. Put that in front of you. Breathe out as you open your hand. Don't stop in the middle. Get all the way to the end. And then come back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now we're going to stand. Remember now, we stand like the pine tree. We're going to meditate while standing, which means that I'm going to move my feet as if I'm growing some roots. And then I'm going to loosen up my knee a little to make sure that the rest of my tree is very flexible. And now I'm going to focus on my breath. And just saying to yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. One breath at a time. Okay, now we come to the second form, which is called balloon breathing. So we put our right foot forward, we lean back so the toes on the right foot is pointing up, and we look at the ceiling at 45 degrees. Now we bring up both hands high enough I can actually see it with the corner of my eye. And then I roll forward, and then I roll backward. As I roll forward, I take a breath in, breathe in. As I roll back, I breathe out. I don't stop in the middle. I breathe all the way out. And then relax, let the body breathe in on its own. And then breathe out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Okay, one more time. Relax, breathe in, and then breathe out. Now anchor your mind on the center of your palm, bring it down. Going from the center of your palm to the bottom of your feet. 1, 2, come back to the posture, focusing on my breath, one breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I commit all the way to the end of the cycle. I know I'm breathing out. And then I recommit to the next one at a time. Okay, now to the left, get ready. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, very gently, very mindfully, all the way out. Breathe in, breathe out, one at a time. Breathe in, breathe out. And try not to hunch, okay? If you hunch, you're putting pressure on your lung. Just roll the body back, roll the body forward. Breathe in, using your heel. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time, breathe in, and then breathe out. Now lower your hand, back to the standing, another minute, okay? Okay, now the next one is called butterfly. So obviously this one is much harder because it requires balancing. So first you open your shoulder and then relax, looking straight ahead. Bring up your hand, but follow to center your palm. Bring it back down, lower your knee. And then bring it back up, raise your heel, stand on your toes until the back of the hand is touching. As you come down, you breathe in. As you go up, you breathe out. Don't stop, just all the way up. And then breathe in, breathe out. One breath at a time. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax, looking straight ahead. Breathe in, breathe out. One last one. Breathe in. And then breathe out all the way. And then follow the center of your palm, come back down, and then another minute of standing meditation. So we meditate when we sit, we meditate when we stand, we meditate when we exercise, okay? Okay, now the next one's called push hands. So some of you say, oh, Danny, this looks a lot like Tai Chi. And so let me talk about the similarity first. So in Tai Chi, we talk about the 6 harmony of the body and then harmony of our spirit. The 3 harmony of our body is that the wrist harmonize with the heel, the elbow harmonize with the knee, the shoulder harmonize with the hip. Okay, so everything is moving. So you stand, you focus on the center of your palm. You imagine there is a water wheel in front of you. You move forward, you bring your hand gliding on the outside of the water wheel, bring it to the top. As you bring it down, you open your shoulder, you glide on the, and then until you get to here, your hip. Then you look straight ahead at the center of the water wheel and you push. Okay, breathe in, open your shoulder, and then breathe out. One at a time, breathe in. We're using all 6 joints, right? The wrist, the heel, the elbow, the knee, the shoulder, and the hip, harmonizing all 6 joints. Now that's harmony of the body. There's also 3 more harmony of the mind. And if I try to translate it, is harmonizing the intention with the focus, harmonizing the focus with the chi, right? In this case, just the breath, harmonizing your chi with the effort. Breathe in, breathe out. Follow the center of your palm. Breathe out. Open your shoulder, bring it all the way down, and as you breathe out, it's as if you're pushing at the back where the kidneys are. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. One more time. In, out. Now, bring it back. Let's stand for another 1 minute, focusing on the breath, 1 breath at a time. Okay, so I mentioned this technique, Tuna, is very old. It's like 2-3 centuries before Christ. And along the way, they also, developed these technique, exercise, Tai Chi, Qigong, all that. And they model the movement after 5 different animals: the tiger, the bear, the monkey, the bird, more like the crane, and then one more, the deer. Okay. Now, they often describe this movement as the back of the tiger and the hip of the bear. Now, what does that mean? As I breathe in, I feel the strength in my back. That's the tiger. As I breathe out, right, I feel the foundations on my hip. I feel the weight and the calmness on my hip, right? So the tiger is your energetic mode, your fight or flight. And the bear, since it hibernates, is like the rest and digest. So you're actually cycling between two different animals, cycling with the idea that you're cycling between the autonomous system. When you breathe in, you enter into fight or flight, raising your heart rate. And when you breathe out, you enter into rest and digest, lowering your heart rate. And it's that difference between the heart rate that is an indicator of your ability to heal yourself, reducing inflammation. Breathing in, breathing out. In and out. One last time. In and out. Come back. Now, this is the last 1 minute standing meditation, okay? One breath at a time. Okay, now this last exercise is to restore the sensitivity of your adrenal gland. When you're under stress a lot, then you develop what's called adrenal fatigue. And adrenal fatigue means that when you change the center of gravity, you're supposed to adjust your blood pressure to compensate for the blood flow. If you can, then you're going to have lightheadedness, right? Oxygen doesn't get up to your brain. And so this is actually one of the tests that the doctors do, the Western doctors do, when they ask you to sit on the examining table. At the very end, they will ask you to stand up, and they're watching you, right? So if you stand up and you get lightheadedness, then they know that that's the decay of your body. If you stand up without that, then you're good shape, right? So I take my 90-year-old mom to see the doctor regularly, and I noticed that they always do that. And my mom would just jump off the examining table and they go, whoa, this exercise, okay? Now, the trick is that you stand up, you open your shoulder, you look straight ahead, you follow the hand, you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you open your knee, you go all the way down, and then you push your back into the front. And then when you breathe in, you rise all the way to the top, and you bend it as far back as you can, and then relax, right? All this time working on your adrenal gland. Second time, breathe out, bend to the front, and then breathe in, bend to the back. Second time, breathe in. Last time, breathe out, and then breathe in. And then relax. Okay, now if you could do this, you're in good shape. Now, we're going to come back. We have 10 more minutes, so we're going to meditate. So I talk a lot about the 5 ways that The 5 things you need to do to maintain good health as you age, especially to um, 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 protect your neurological health, and it's NEURO. Now, of course, what we do here is E, exercise, but the right kind of exercise, right? Right kind of exercise where you maintain the balance between the yin and the yang, and maintaining the harmony between your 2 autonomous systems, right? Back to the way that we used to do it. Now, the N is nutrition. So I focus more on nutrition to maintain intestinal health. We all know that intestine is called the second brain. And there's been study now that digestive health is tied to Parkinson's disease. So the 2 are related, okay? So how do you maintain digestive health, focusing on nutrition? Stay away from preservatives. Stay away from preservatives. Coloring, I don't mind, actually. Preservatives is really the stuff that kills your bacteria in your guts, because the whole purpose of bacteria is to create an environment where bacteria cannot survive. So it does that in your gut as well when you digest. So when you go out to eat, or when you eat pre-processed food, that's what happens, right? And why do you think you can have a bottle of ketchup or sriracha hot sauce on your table for months without refrigerating? Because there's preservatives. So I stay away from that. I focus more on food that has been fermented, right? Fermented food. All right. So N is for nutrition. E is for exercise. So we talk about that. R is very important. Find ways that you can bring your neurological system back to rest and digest, right? If you don't bring it back to rest and digest, you're constantly in fight or flight. You can go on vacation and be a fight or flight, especially in fact, vacation is the worst form of fight or flight, right? Anyway, you want to maintain that harmony between your autonomous system by meditation, by the right kind of yoga, right? I hear this thing called hot yoga. That's crazy. That is crazy, right? But find teachers who actually focus on meditation after you do the exercise. Okay, just don't treat it as a energetic exercise, and that's all, right? This exercise is very good for you, but too much of good thing is not good. So, restorative is about no, unwinding. I'm sorry. Unwinding is about bringing yourself back into the rest and digest. Really pay attention to your sleep. Pay attention to your sleep. You don't actually need more than an hour and a half or 2 hours of sleep if it's all about your physical body. No matter how tired you are, you fall asleep. 2 hours later, you will wake up, because if that's all you need, you got it. But sleep is about restoring your neurological health. So pay attention to when you sleep. Can you fall asleep right away? Do you wake up in the middle of the night? And can you fall back to sleep right away? Okay? The problem that people cannot sleep and develop insomnia is that it becomes a habit. They wake up in the middle, they need to go to the bathroom, they come back, they spend the next 20 minutes on the iPhone catching up messages, or they might even go to the bathroom and microwave some milk, thinking that will help them go back to sleep. Well, the problem is that becomes your habit, that becomes part of your lifestyle. So think about that. So we wake up in the middle of the night. Last night, woke up and said, whoa, it's only 3 o'clock, so something happened. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep, right? All right, so that's R. And then finally is O, don't stop learning. Be open to learning, open to compassion, loving kindness, empathy. And then there's one thing called equanimity. So what does equanimity means? It means let go of the memory. If it's gone, it's gone. Let go of the memory, right? Don't judge. Accept things as they are. I don't mean that as being very passive. I'm not a passive person. But there are times when I say, hey, I'm just living with a memory. Time to let it go. Okay? All right, so let's sit for 5 minutes, however you want, and then we end the class. Okay. So B mentioned that it's my first time here. I enjoyed this very much and learned a lot. Thank you. So if you're here for the first time, you can just search for my name, or you can go to dannykmew.com, and there will be a list of my other social media platform, and you will find that everything that we do here is recorded. I only have 2 English class a week today on Insight Timer, but it's also on YouTube and Facebook. And then tomorrow, but tomorrow is an in-person class. I actually stopped doing live casting now on my in-person class. And also, we change the time so that it's 8 o'clock my time and not 9 o'clock. Okay? So let us practice gratitude. I'm very grateful that you're all here. And you should be grateful as well that you have this opportunity to be together and to practice with your fellow travelers. We should be very grateful for our health, for our family, for our friends, for our neighbors, and for our fellow countrymen, as well as for all the other beings in this universe, and particularly in this planet that is our habitat. So, with gratitude, we practice acceptance. It's time to accept yourself as who you are. It's time not to dwell on the past anymore. Whatever you did in the past that you felt that you didn't do enough, you did the best you can, and that's enough. And accept your family as who they are, accept your friends as who they are. Even those who didn't treat you well in the past for one reason or another, chances are there were times that you didn't treat others well neither. And so it's time to accept them as who they are. And with that, it's time for us to share our positive energy, share our merit. May all beings be free from division, from hate, from negative energy. And may all beings be free from physical suffering. May all beings be free from spiritual suffering. May all beings be protected with compassion, loving kindness, empathy, and equanimity. Let us all be blessed with good health, with happiness, and with peace. I'll see you all next week. Namaste. And thank you for all the donations. Okay, bye-bye.